Right, perfect. So again, today, my name is Mitch Staley with Helix Business Solutions. We're happy to have everyone on the call, and especially excited to introduce Mr. Mike Garner and Mike Hensley with OpenMethods here momentarily. And today's webinar is a demonstration of OpenMethods and how OpenMethods drives ROI through an actual, true omni-channel strategy in your call center, and how that integrates into your Oracle Service Cloud investment. Do transition to the next slide there, Mike. Thank you. So in case you don't know who Helix is, just briefly, we have over 750 successful Oracle Service Cloud engagements. What we do is we aim to provide the next generation of customer experience for some of the world's leading brands that use Oracle Service Cloud products. We have a depth of experience that comes over nearly a decade or over a decade worth on our team. And so we have that depth and that breadth of experience that we bring to the table for our customers every single day in delivering that excellence in customer experience and customer service that our customers expect. And a part of Helix's commitment to providing that excellence is to bring to you solutions and partners that we think that you need to take a look at that can help you really get more from your Oracle investment. And today we're excited to introduce you to the OpenMethods team. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you, Mike Garner, if you want to take it from there. Mike?
Yeah, thank you, Mitch. And welcome, everybody. This is Mike Garner. I'm the Chief Customer Officer at OpenMethods, and I am as I often tell people, I'm a recovering operations guy. So I ran consumer sales and service operations for Verizon in the Northwest and Northeast parts of the United States, as well as ran a business process outsourcer or a call center outsourcing company called AFNI. And we grew that to a little over 6,000 folks. Inbound, outbound care, some with revenue components, some with in collection space as well. So I'm glad it's your job and not mine anymore. I've been on the software side for about 9 years, been involved in one shape or form with OpenMethods for a little over 6 years now. And we are a software company. We make 2 products and 2 products only, and those products work specifically for, engineered really specifically for Oracle Service Cloud, and in 2017 Sales Cloud and Engagement Cloud as well. So the 2 products that we'll go over in terms of why they exist, why that matters when we talk about delivering true omni-channel experience or a great omni-channel experience, and how you do that at scale, how do you do that profitably. Both these products work in all those flavors, and also the web version of Service Cloud, because that's got obviously some really cool implications around store and branch personnel being able to do a lot of really great things in terms of communication-enabled CRM as well, not necessarily in the contact center. So I think the key premises, or sort of why does OpenMethods exist, is, we've done a lot of work with Helix. We've got customers across just about every vertical now. I'm not sure if we're missing any of the verticals or any of the types of industries now. We're actually, we got installed base in every continent except the Arctic. So apparently there's not a lot of contact centers in the Arctic, but I don't know. So there's maybe an opportunity for somebody. But really what everybody is trying to do is personalize customer interaction at scale. So how do I know my customer? How do I know my stuff? And how do I never ask them for ask them a question that I should already have the answer to, or ask them to do more work that I've already either could have done for them, automated for them, or even eliminated for them if there's not enough business or personal or shopper value in it. So that's number one. Number two, it's this notion of being easy to do business with. And it's not about automating everything. It's not about one click for everything, but it is about delivering the right level of effort. And sometimes that's a dialogue. Sometimes that's almost like an interview, to make sure the customer feels like they are arriving at the right decision, whether that be the right answer to a problem or a question they have to get resolution, or if it's the right product to buy, the right plan to be on, you name it. So it's really about the least amount of effort or the right amount of effort to get what the customer is trying to achieve done. And it starts with a repeat-free and sort of this never start over journey. And so that's sort of the second guiding principle. Third, we need to make sure we do this in a way that fits with the existing technology landscape. So how do we pull this off? How do we personalize at scale? How do we take out redundancy? And how do we do that while we leverage the current investments we have? And the two primary tools that we all use in customer service, and that is the computer and the CRM, where my customer data sits. And in the case of Oracle, you've got knowledge and all these great things that come with the Oracle Service Cloud. That's why, there's 18 billion interactions to the Oracle Service Cloud, CRM piece every day versus, only 2 billion on maybe the second leading. So there's a reason for that. It's the most robust servicing CRM on the planet. But how do you take that? How do you leverage your investment in that? How do you automate the outcomes or ensure the outcomes that you're looking for with Service Cloud? And how do you do so in a way that doesn't have you making changes or force changes on you from the telephony side as well? So we'll go through that. And so how do you get this to pay back? And how do you get this to pay back, in weeks and months instead of years? And how do you implement? How can you get started? I mean, how do you? Nobody has any time or really the money or the patience anymore for a 3-year roadmap. Every quarter, pretty much people are wanting to be able to implement and have this more agile look at how do I improve the business and move the needle forward, and how do I make that felt by my customers and my employees. And so, how do you do this in such a way where it really is productized and it's configuration and not coding, those sorts of things. So that's what drives us at OpenMethods. The good news is we've got a lot of great customers. I'm not going to belabor the slide, but we're coachable, and we've been coached by some of the largest brands on the planet about what to do and what to build, so that, quite frankly, when a customer hires Helix and a customer hires Helix and OpenMethods software to do a job for them, and that might be automating, 1 million tasks a month so that the agents don't have to do them, or automating the compliance to those procedures so you don't leave it up to the person to remember and execute every time, that it does its job, and it does its job every day. So regardless of industry, as customers, we all want to feel these three things when we interact with a brand, whether it be retail, telecom, banking, healthcare, you name it. So I want to feel like when I interact with that brand knows me, that the person I'm dealing with knows their stuff, and that they're going to be respectful of myself and my time. And we spend a lot of time talking about not only these three things. Great book called Human Sigma. It was all about, finding the emotional, or testing for the emotional strength of the relationship between a customer and your brand. And there's 4 levels of engagement. So there's some really great stuff there that you can ask very specific questions of customers. It also works for employees as well in terms of testing the engagement, the commitment to your brand. And, you test for confidence in your brand at a bedrock. And so what we're going to talk about today is how do you deliver confidence in how you do business with your customers through every interaction that you have. And then it's about integrity. How do you ensure that you deal with people fairly? They may not like the answer that you give them, but if they understand how you arrived at that answer, then that integrity shines through. And that's the second sort of step up in terms of the emotional attachment, or the strength of the relationship between a brand and a customer, all the way up to pride. So you can ask questions about, are you proud to be a customer of, X, Y, Z, or our brand, and all the way up to passionate. Can people even see themselves living without your brand every day? So really cool stuff. I highly advise, if you haven't looked at it, the Human Sigma stuff in terms of engagement. And then we talk about, effort. Why is this so hard to pull off? Why does it feel like people don't know me? I have to, I went to the IVR, I started online, then I went to an IVR, and I'm just repeating who I am, what I'm trying to do, and any progress that I made at each of those turns. And especially if it goes from agent 1 to agent 2 after all of that, or I have to call back in. So, and the reason why it's hard is because we've got so many communication channels now, so many doors that the customer can come through. And then there's this concept of really, I don't know if anybody on this connection today, for instance, really has one system of record. It's more of this concept of an ecosystem of record. I've got a lot of knowledge in my CRM, but I might have a lot of knowledge in my e-com system. I might have some more knowledge over in a billing platform, or a shipping or a fulfillment platform. And then more and more data is coming from third party. You know, I might not even house the data that I need to have a great interaction with a customer, even inside of my walls or inside of an asset that I own. But how do I hit a third party database or system for relevant information? So that's what's made it hard in the past to pull that off. And this gets to this: how are you easy to do business with? So I think engagement is number one. This whole personalization at scale. So the level of engagement. And then it's about ease. No more extra effort than necessary to get the result you're looking for. And the data from that, the last 6-7 years coming out of the corporate executive board and in association with Harvard Business, is that that's actually got the strongest correlation with customer loyalty and propensity to spend more with your brand than even Net Promoter Score, and certainly more than the CSAT. You know, rank my, you know, how would you rate the service? That's more of a rational question that we ask people. You know, score me on a scale of 1 to 10. And so that's the rational side of our brain, but an emotional side of our brain would be: do you trust me to handle your affairs? Do you trust me to give you the right advice? Do you trust me to get you on the right plan? Do you trust me not to overcharge you? You know, those are much more compelling questions. And as you get to NPS, of course, would you bring a friend? Would you tell a friend to buy from us and do business with us? But it turns out being easy to do business with is one of the most important things you can focus on in a business. And so, as the smarter Mike Hensley, who runs our solution delivery and our solution consulting piece here at OpenMethods, as he gets into showing you how the products work and tackle this is what it's about. When customers feel like they've got one conversation to resolution, and I say conversation because, you know, it's still over 70% of interactions go through 3 channels or more. I start on the web, then I chat, maybe then I hit an IVR, then I hit an agent, and there's 4. So that's okay as long as I don't start over or repeat a process or repeat information. So one conversation to resolution is so important. And what happens is when you don't have it, loyalty or the propensity to stick with you and spend more money with your brand just falls off. Literally 2 times more susceptible to churn when you don't have a great omni-channel ability to deliver a great experience and a personalized service experience. And by the way, when you get it right, there's a bump up, but it's really more of a defensive game when you're in just pure service. But it's how do we make sure we just don't give them another reason to look for an alternative to our products or services. So again, we have 2 products that go at these concepts, that try and drive these concepts home, that allow people to basically take what they've got in terms of telephony and communications and CRM, spend already an investment and know-how and knowledge and experience, and how do we help them leverage that to pull this off at scale in the coming years and decades. And so we think of these 2 products, they make up our interaction integration platform. And the first one is Harmony. And what Harmony allows you to do is say yes to the Oracle channels that have integrated incident management, integrated knowledge, integrated customer history and context. So that's where you know your customer. So being able to say yes to email and chat and social and insert name of new channel here from Oracle, and have that married and blended alongside the phone channel as if they were born together, married together, and that they work natively as if, you know, the phone channel was delivered by Oracle or the Oracle channels were delivered by the phone. And I'll let Mike Hensley tell you how that works. But by marrying those things, now the agent or the customer service rep can find answers, do their work, and communicate with their customers all from Oracle Service Cloud. And if you look at Contact Babel, it comes out every year, really good state of the customer service industry stuff, and it's free, which is the best part about it. I remember in 2015, they took a look at how many applications on average were used during a customer interaction, and it was 3.9. So 3.9 applications and screens were used on every inbound interaction in the United States 2 years ago. The average handle time for an inbound care call, 6 minutes, 1 second. When somebody finally figured out how to find, do, and communicate all from within that same workspace, that dropped to 4 minutes and 33 seconds. very hard to do, but I would say that with Oracle Service Cloud and with this automated tie of communication channels about what I should know about you already and what you're trying to do, and automatically guiding you to the best use of Service Cloud, that's finally doable. So that's that minute 30, minute 40 of opportunity that we talk about. And it starts with that single pane of glass. And then this universal composite queue, being able to set rules such as with Harmony saying, hey, I know that I'm on 2 Oracle chats or 3 Oracle chats, so don't send a phone call from Avaya, Cisco, Five9, Genesys, you name it. Or vice versa, I'm on a phone call, so don't send chats, but maybe route an email based on the subject matter of that email. That is the right agent. That is the best, the most savvy agent at that particular subject. So I do want him or her to get it, but they can work that obviously not in real time. So those kinds of rules, that universal composite queue, one place to do routing, rules, reporting, is the second really cool thing that comes with Harmony. And then lastly, PopFlow. And Mr. Hensley will show you both, but PopFlow is a total rethink on the pain that is, how do I automatically gather information from you, or know that that's your phone number, know that's your email address, know that that's that campaign code that you entered, or that promotion code, or you name it, or know that's the number you dialed, so the Dinas or the Annie. How do I take those bits of information, or how do I take the subject line of an email, or how do I take whatever information I gleaned from you and you logged into the portal for help? How do I take those pieces of information and hit the databases that matter and bring back this contextual view of you and what you're trying to do? And how do I literally design, build, test, and deploy those in days and weeks instead of 10 people in 2 months, and getting test phone numbers and getting highly specialized communications people involved in the loop? And that is the way screen pops and automations happen from communication to CRM before PopFlow came on the scene about 3 years ago. So I'm not going to belabor the point. The good news is we're not about going after 7 seconds here. We're all about going after 30 seconds. We're all about going after 40 seconds. And you'll see how we do that in terms of, when people typically think about CTI or screen pop, it's, hey, do I know you and can I pull the account? And you'll see how we've just really expanded that to work in an ecosystem of record world. We've expanded that to say, hey, you know what, PopFlow sees everything and can do everything in an automated fashion within Service Cloud. So it's not just pop the account of the incident, but let's also maybe drive to the best answer or best offer. Let's automatically kick off a script or kick off an OPA process in one of the more structured and disciplined or regulated industries. So that's what we're after, about a third, let's call it, of that minute 30, minute 40 that's possible. Really cool stuff happens in terms of the speed and agility by which you can really drive your business. And so, I'll kick it over to Mike Hensley now, who will, walk you through that. And we'll make sure you get these slides so you've got sort of the visual behind the narrative. And the good news is we have happy customers, and yay. So good for us. So with that, I went a little long, so sorry, Mike Hensley, but the smarter Mike will now take it and actually show you these products at work.
No problem. Thanks, Mr. Garner. Let's see, and we'll get transition over to my screen now so that you can see it. I'll give that a minute. Make sure everybody's seeing it.
That looks good.
Good, thank you, sir. So I'm actually going to take you through a couple of demo scenarios just to give you some examples of the types of things that we can do with PopFlow and with Harmony. I'll try to separate those so that it's clear which product I'm talking about when, but obviously if we do this right, those things really bleed together. Those two products bleed together, operate seamlessly to provide that true omni-channel experience within Service Cloud. So what you're looking at here, I've just logged into Service Cloud as an agent. You can see that when I logged in, it logged me into the Harmony media bar. I like to think of this thing as the smartphone for Service Cloud, right? It lets agents communicate with customers through whatever channels suit that agent and those customer interactions. Meaning, in this case, you can see that I'm a multi-channel agent, an omni-channel agent. I'm capable of handling phone calls, emails, and web chat. So it logged me into those channels, and I've made myself available, green, to receive any of those interactions as they're routed to me. Couple of quick notes on the media bar. I'm going to leave it docked so that you can see what's going on, but also know that agents can automatically hide that media bar so that it pops out when they need it, but disappears when they don't, just like standard navigation panes within Service Cloud can be docked or automatically hidden. We do the same. And obviously, as I change my theme, so as agents customize their look and feel of Service Cloud, we follow that as well. So we've really designed the media bar and PopFlow to work as a native part of Service Cloud through their normal add-in framework. So in that, a lot of people ask, what if I don't want blended agents? Well, that's fine, right? Those are decisions that you make every day, how to route interactions inside of contact centers. We've been doing that for decades in contact centers, certainly with the voice channel. Your telephony platform has skills defined, routing rules defined that determine which agent gets those calls, who's the most available agent, most highly skilled agent. It does all the queuing and things of that nature that we expect of phone calls. With Harmony, we apply those same rules to other channels that may originate within Service Cloud, like email and chat here, what I'll be showing you as examples today. We believe that the best place for all of your routing rules, your omni-channel routing strategy, is in the telephony platform, in your ACD. Letting that system do what it does best, route interactions. And to allow it to provide all of those omni-channel routing capabilities that come along with that, like one place to go for all of your performance metrics for all channels, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to show you how we apply those same concepts to Service Cloud so that Service Cloud can do what it does best, and that is provide the experience associated to that, the customer experience, the agent experience, et cetera. So I'm going to place a couple of test calls in here, and I'm going to start with just what most folks consider the typical screen pop. When I say screen pop, you probably have something that comes to mind immediately, and it usually looks a little something like this, right? In this case, what we did, I just placed a call into our contact center. And by the way, yes, this is a real system. I'm integrated to an ACD here, and I'm placing calls into it. And I'm providing screen pop for it at the same time. So from a Harmony perspective, you can see that Harmony knows that I'm busy handling a call now. That means the ACD knows that I'm busy handling a call. And I can control that call inside of Service Cloud natively, the same way I always have on my phone in the past. So for example, I can put the call on hold, I can transfer it, I can conference, hang up, etc. Do all of those things that I'm accustomed to doing on my hard phone or soft phone. I just have the ability to do them now within Service Cloud in that media bar. Now, along with that, I also received the basic screen pop, right? This is what most people think of when they say screen pop. And I'll talk a little bit later about how PopFlow differs in that we can provide these basic screen pops, but PopFlow can do so much more for you, i.e. the flow portion of that. That's where we go from looking at, as Mike said earlier, the 5 seconds to the 30 or 45 seconds savings efficiencies on calls and things of that nature. So in this case, what PopFlow did, we just said, take that caller ID associated to the incoming call and pop that person's information inside of Service Cloud. Give us some data, pop some data, right? So we did a lookup inside of Service Cloud. We found that phone number belonged to Dave Grusin, and we automatically popped that contact with some basic information so that the agent can now go and handle that call however they normally handle calls inside of Service Cloud. Now I'm going to come back to the screen pop portion of that in a second, but I also wanted to show you while I was here and we were kind of talking about Harmony, that that type of concept not only applies to voice, that's something that everybody's familiar with. I just placed a call, it got routed to me by your telephony platform, by the ACD, and I handled it here within Service Cloud with a screen pop. Those same basic concepts apply now not only to voice, but also to chat and email. So for example, if I were a customer and I were to go to your customer portal, like I've done here, going to our customer portal, and I requested a live chat, most of you will recognize this is Service Cloud, right? This is Service Cloud's customer portal. If I were logged in, it would know who I am. It may know what pages I've visited or give me an opportunity to tell the system why I'm requesting a live chat. All of that information Harmony is treating much like an IVR is to phone calls. We take that data and we pass it over to the ACD so that the ACD can be your omni-channel routing engine, right? So whether I'm logged in or not, in this case, I'm going to submit a chat. Here, playing the role of the customer, you can see that it's queued me up. I may even get some information there about how long the expected wait times are, things of that nature. But as an agent, what's happening here, Harmony is taking that request, giving it to the ACD for a routing decision. The ACD is using its routing rules based on skill, based on availability. It will queue that interaction, that chat interaction, and eventually route it to a specific agent. That's what Harmony does. It enables that omni-channel routing through the ACD so that the agents can just accept and receive and accept interactions however they see, as they are routed to them, right? In this case, you can see the chat is a native Service Cloud chat. It still works the same way. I still have access to knowledge. The customer portal may have tried to deflect me. So we're letting the ACD do what it does best, route interactions, but we're also letting Service Cloud do what it does best, to be that exposure to knowledge, to be your deflection, to provide flow through to case management. All of those Service Cloud concepts stay intact with Harmony. And again, I can control that interaction through my media bar. Now, if I were more talented than I really am, I may be able to handle a phone call and a chat at the same time, or 3 emails and 2 chats, but not a phone call at the same time. All of those rules now can exist in your ACD where they've always belonged or always resided for voice. Now you're able to apply those same concepts to all of the interactions, even those that are handled within Service Cloud. And that is to include email, if you like. Something that is a little different with Harmony. Those email can become a routable interaction that get screen popped to the agent as they arrive. So having said that, I'd like to shift. You can kind of see Harmony is operating now. All I have to really think of as an agent is just to be here and be available. And the ACD will send me the interactions that I'm supposed to have when I'm supposed to have them based on rules that you define. So I'm going to shift and I'm going to talk a little bit about screen pops, because you've seen a couple of simple screen pops. I started out with what we consider the basic, what you'll hear people refer to as the basic ANI screen pop, caller ID, or ANI screen pop, where we take the caller ID and we use it to determine who's calling, and we pop information related to that customer on the screen. Obviously, there's more now for me to do as an agent to handle this call, and this varies obviously by contact center to contact center. But typically, we'll see customers doing things like verifying that they've got the right customer. Yes, this is Dave Grusin. And then they query the customer. They'll have an interview, a little bit of an interview. How can I help you, Dave? Dave says, I'd like to place a new order. Right? And again, this is just my example. You can see that I've got other information about Dave. I can have that 360-degree view of my customer Dave here. That's Service Cloud doing what it does best, right? But I'm still kind of going through a process. Okay, Dave, what can I get you? I know you wanted to place an order. What can I get you? And I may select products and disposition this call, actually process an order for Dave. Now in a PopFlow world, we like to shortcut that. And this is where we go from that 5 seconds to a more significant efficiency gain with PopFlow, in that a lot of times we'll ask customers things like, who are you and what do you want? Why are you calling us? Why are you contacting us? And we do that in an IVR. And as soon as they are routed to an agent, I'm sure everybody has experienced it, they get asked the exact same questions that the IVR asked them again by the agent. And that's primarily because that data is typically lost in the IVR. The ACD may use that information to route the call, but it's never passed into Service Cloud or to other CRMs so that we can do something with it. Now, while I've been chatting, I've been going through our IVR, and I've been telling it who I am and that I wanted to place an order. It confirmed or verified my identity. So PopFlow sees that additional information and can use it to provide a more seamless and more efficient screen pop to the agent. This is not your traditional screen pop. What we're doing now is actually controlling the workflow of the agent, right? So in this case, you can see we just shortcutted them straight to the order screen. Hi, Dave. I see you want to place a new order for an iPhone 7 Plus. Let me get that for you. And the agent's off to the races, actually doing something for this customer, right? Now, again, these are just examples that we've come up with, somewhat generic examples that we've come up with, but they apply to really, if you use your imagination, just about any industry you can imagine. A lot of folks may have agents that take different types of calls, right? They never know what the next call is going to be related to. Again, if we're interviewing people in the IVR to get that kind of information, or sometimes even if we're just routing calls to different queues to identify how to route those calls, we can use that same information to provide a more intelligent screen pop. Hopefully you can guess what's going on here. This is a service request. Hi, Dave. I see you're calling with a service request for help locating your service tag, right? Again, information that may have been provided in the IVR or just by dialing a unique 800 number. Again, we're tying that information and we're using it inside of Service Cloud to keep the agent from having to do manual tasks, simple things like selecting fields inside of Service Cloud, populating data inside of Service Cloud, or even something as simple as just putting a unique subject into the incident record. Because as you guys probably know, that leads to different things like exposure to knowledge. If I know that somebody is calling for help locating that service tag, I can put appropriate answers in front of them that they can view, things of that nature, right? So making all of these things work together seamlessly is really what Harmony and PopFlow are designed to do. Now, a couple of other examples. These are kind of the basics of your more advanced PopFlow style screen pops. Another one that I wanted to show you very quickly that's become very popular is the concept of putting information in front of agents that they need to handle the call, even if that information doesn't exist inside of Service Cloud. Now, my example here, I'm dialing into our IVR again. I'm telling the IVR that I want to check the status of an on-site appointment that I have for installation of a new satellite system that I bought. Now, that scheduling data, when the installer is supposed to be on site and his or her ETA is not something that's normally tracked inside of Service Cloud. But because the IVR prompted me to input my appointment ID when I told it I wanted to check the status, PopFlow can go out, hit an external database that does have this kind of scheduling data in it, pull that into Service Cloud and populate it again so that your agent experience is streamlined. Hi, Dave. See, you were calling to check the appointment of the status of an on-site install for your satellite system. Looks like you were scheduled for a 2:15 install, and the installer is on time, so he should be here, right? Now, whether or not we save this data to Service Cloud, again, strictly up to you, right? This may be something that you just want to show to the agents. It may be something that you actually want to pull into Service Cloud. We see a lot of customers using this as an impromptu on-demand data migration tool sometimes even. But all of those things are things that you can do with PopFlow based on your specific unique environment and requirements. Now, I will say, when Mike showed the initial look, where a lot of people end up at this point in the conversation, they think, yeah, Mike, that's great. I know I can do that, but it's probably a lot of custom services, development, et cetera, right? And that's where PopFlow changes that dynamic. So with PopFlow comes PopFlow Studio. And what PopFlow Studio is a drag and drop graphical design interface that allows non-technical people to create that type of screen pop logic that says, what should I be doing based on this particular customer, this specific interaction type, why they're calling, and things of that nature. So with PopFlow, I can have as many different screen pops as I like. I'm no longer doing development to create these things, so it's rare that a PopFlow customer would have only one what we call interaction workflow, i.e. screen pop. Usually they would have many, and they would deploy those within their environment to different groups of agents, different business units, things of that nature as they see fit. And now I have the ability to either create new screen pops. Let's see. You can see now why I don't take chat interactions and voice interactions at the same time. I stutter when I type. But I can create new interactions, or I can modify existing interaction workflows, screen pops, really to my heart's content. In this case, instead of having to know how to code, I just need basic PopFlow training to know what all of these different activities do, something that we provide to our customers, so that I can just drag and drop them onto my design canvas to create the screen pop that I want. So for example, if I were to show you the basic Annie screen pop, something that traditionally takes, dozens of hours of development to create, we can recreate here in PopFlow in just a matter of seconds. So for example, I'll tell PopFlow when a call comes in, and I'll interpret some of this for you, but when a call comes in, go do a lookup inside of Service Cloud. Look for contacts where the phone number fields contain the caller ID of the associated call, of the current call, right? And if you notice, as I'm using these drop-down arrows to make selections, what you're seeing here are all of the fields within Service Cloud. These are all of the contact fields, whether they're standard fields, custom objects, etc. So again, I said, go do a lookup in the contact database or in the contact table where the caller ID of the current call is associated or is in one of the phone number fields. Now, when I do that lookup, that's something that the agents could do manually, right? If they were to do that manually, they'd have one of three outcomes. Either they would find one matching contact record, they would find no matching contact records, or they would find a bunch, multiple matching contact records, and I can just drag and drop and tell PopFlow what I want to do in each of those cases. So for example, if I do a contact lookup and I don't find a contact, maybe I want to create one. And I can tell PopFlow specifically what to do. I might also want to automatically, only in a demo whenever I'm sharing my screen. I can tell PopFlow automatically take the caller ID, the Annie, and put it in one of the phone number fields, right? Like put it in the mobile phone field. If I do that contact lookup and I find a single match, maybe I want to create a new incident so the agent doesn't have to do that. And maybe I want to associate that, that contact record that I found to the incident. Obviously, things that I can do and know how to do because I've been through PopFlow training. If I find a bunch of matching contact records, run a report that shows them all the matching contact records. Now, once I'm done with that and created that screen pop, again, this is just your basic Annie screen pop, but another thing that's unique about PopFlow is that we also give you test facilities built into Service Cloud. So you don't have to go back to the telephony guy and say, can you create a test queue so that I can place calls in to test this newly developed screen pop that I have? I just simply hit my execute button, tell the system what I want to do, create a voice interaction with this caller ID, and any other kind of attached data that we might expect from the IVR, so that I can run it and see real time what PopFlow is going to do in this case. So here it created a new incident and it automatically associated that incident to the contact. So I know that that particular scenario is good. If I keyed in a bad telephone number, something that wasn't in the contact database already, it would create a new contact, hopefully. There's my new contact. And let's check the phone field and see if it popped. There we go. And it automatically took my caller ID and put it in the mobile phone field, just like I told it to do. So I can do that. I can test these things out, create them in minutes, right? Once I'm satisfied that I have a good screen pop, I can also, within Studio, assign that to whatever Service Cloud profiles I like. So if I want my, this particular agent group using that new Helix demo interaction workflow that I created, I save it. The next time these agents log into Service Cloud, they will automatically go to getting the screen pop. Likewise, if I ever decide to change the screen pop, I can make whatever modifications to it I like, and I can test it, save it. As soon as I save it, then those, again, the next time those agents log into Service Cloud, they'll automatically start getting that new screen pop. Now, guys, there are quite a lot of activities here I can walk you through. This is just a very basic example, obviously. If I were to point out a couple of the nicer portions, things that we've mentioned already, things like retrieving data from external systems, right? We've even made those integrations simple so that once we go through implementation of PopFlow, I can reuse those activities, those integration activities, so that I'm not having to reinvent the wheel. I can just go get data that I need, right, and bring it in, or I can post data out at various times back to those systems if I need to. And I do that using standard, typical integration methods, common integration methods like HTTP or web services, SOAP requests, simple SQL queries, even in some cases. Example here would be if I do a lookup inside of Service Cloud's contact database and I don't find any customer records with the caller ID, maybe I want to hit some other system to see if that customer data is in that system. If it is, go get it, bring it in, and then use that information to create my contact records so that the agent's not having to copy and paste data from one system to another. You're not having to do major imports of data and synchronization of data all the time. It's something that you just do on demand as need be for the agent. All keeping in mind that these screen pops are happening while the phone is ringing, right? So again, I won't try to walk you through all of the different activities, but obviously there's quite a lot. We've got our hooks into Service Cloud in a very deep way so that any information that is there you can use. We can not only access all of your PopFlow, I should say, can not only access all of your Service Cloud data, but it can also, more importantly, can control flow so that it works with just simple workspaces, or if you have them, workflows, scripts, et cetera, et cetera. So having said that, I believe we've got a few moments for questions. And Mitch, I'll open it up so you can kind of help us in that regard.
All right, thanks, Mike and Mike. Got a couple of questions here so far. First question is, what does the installation process look like?
Good question. So I'll take that one. And the installation process, keep in mind, Harmony and PopFlow can be purchased and deployed together or separately, however customers desire. Typically, combining both of those applications, both Harmony and PopFlow, those implementation processes usually take from 4 to 6 weeks. We obviously would assign dedicated project managers to run an implementation project to assist customers with preparing their site to receive the installation, going through actual installation, user acceptance testing, and movement to production, all as a part of that implementation. With PopFlow, PopFlow has been built in a way that It can be deployed very often much more rapidly even. So we see PopFlow implementations, the same kind of process just for PopFlow, taking as little as, a work week. So literally 5 to 10 days for PopFlow, depending on the environment.
Okay, great. Just a quick reminder here. If you do have a question, I did unmute a few of you on the phone line. If you had feedback, I unmuted you or remuted you just so that we could hear clearly on the phone line. But feel free to ask your questions in the question section here. Do have a couple more questions that we want to make sure we get to before we close out. And the second question is, what happens if, okay, so this is from a customer, what happens if we're in the middle of switching a communications platform already?
It's a great example. It's a perfect call for Harmony, quite frankly. One of the things that Harmony does is, we like to say it unlocks you from your telephony platform manufacturer, your telephony platform. And the way that we do that, obviously, is because OpenMethods provides standard adapters to all of the common platforms. Your agent experience remains the same from one to another. So when Harmony is deployed, very often we're being deployed into those kind of transitional environments where customers are considering or are in the process of moving from one platform to the other. That simply means that once we deploy Harmony to switch from one platform to another, we just change the adapter and things continue to work the way they always have from an agent perspective. It's a good question.
Great, thanks for that. And then one more question here. What's the alternative to this productized solution path?
And Mike, I'll let you.
I'll take that one. The alternative is, we've all done CTI for years, forever. Most of us have actually sort of disinvested in gathering more information up front because it never really worked in terms of, we just ask the same questions post IVR or post what we try to gather, online in either the self-service or blended self-service and agent-assisted sort of channels, as we tried to, at first it started being around cost and, how do I shift everybody to this low-cost channel, and tried to do it in IVR, and that became convoluted and not user-friendly, and so people disinvested in it. So, what you typically had, really up until just a few years ago, was a series of professional services engagements where you had telephony experts basically write custom code between, this switch, this ACD, this telephony platform, and this CRM, and to those versions. So, Oracle Service Cloud versions change 4 times a year. They get upgrades. Same thing on the ACD side. And with all the changes, obviously, with going to cloud-based telephony, that rate of change is going faster and faster. So introduction of things like Twilio, things like Amazon Connect. So having the ability to have a product that sits in between Oracle and insert name of telephony or communication platform over here, and have that literally just be I used to get my data from here, now I get my data from there. That approach is much more manageable. And then from a PopFlow perspective, and that's where we get to at scale. How do you do this at scale? And that's got to be a product if you want to scale it, instead of having a bunch of custom code that you have to continue to maintain and build off of. And secondly, with PopFlow, if you think about the rate of change in all of our businesses, I mean, there's policy changes, there's changes to our product line, there's changes to how we price. We have very specific campaign segmentation. We do a lot with retailers, and so there's a lot of stuff they would love to drive. And just being able to automate how we respond to that interaction based on that demand generating event is huge. Like, just knowing why, even if I don't know who you are, but I know exactly why you're calling because I got a campaign code or a promo code or that sort of thing, is huge. If a regulation changes, to automatically guide the agent, to the right knowledge or the right path to handle it effectively and not have to be trained on it and remember it. That speed or that agility that PopFlow gives you, I think, goes to the manageability. And then you start to invest in automation where it makes sense in terms of driving that easier customer effort and, quite frankly, easier agent effort. So the alternative is professional services. Sort of a never-ending sort of cycle of PS. It's a good question.
Well, thank you. We have one more moment for any remaining questions that anyone might have. We just want to thank everyone for joining today. If you want to get started or learn more about OpenMethods, PopFlow, and Harmony, we're more than happy to hop on a call and schedule a time to discuss that with you and how it will fit your needs and how to go into maybe more depth if there's something that you didn't see today that you were curious about. You can give us a call at the number there on screen, or of course, at any time, discuss this with your Helix account manager, and they can take the next steps with you. So if there aren't any further questions, go ahead and wrap this up. We appreciate everybody joining, and I hope that this provided some value to you and help you understand a little bit better about OpenMethods, and we look forward to working with you in the future. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Mitch.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care.
Good one.